Hello, what's up? Base Boxing Basement Triple B. How you going, peeps? Yeah, so I this is obviously a boxing channel. Base Boxing Basement. We do occasionally talk about other things like obviously red pills. And I do an occasional video on food, on films, and other kinds of fighting, specifically UFC. Now, I quite like UFC. I'm not one of these guys that's, some boxing fans, they don't want to hear about UFC, and I'm not interested. But obviously, boxing is the number one sport for the Triple B. Firstly, because of the history, because I liked it since I was a youth, because I'd done it. And one advantage of it, boxing has over UFC, is it's very easy to understand. Boxing, at least, I'm not saying that about the subtleties, but it's the easiest sport in the world to understand. There are no complex rules, right? Punch someone in the face as often and as hard as you can, and if you knock them out, well, or it stops. Well, it's obviously you've won. If it goes to points, well, if you punch the other guy more in the head and harder, then you win. I mean, there are more complexities than that. And obviously, there's robberies and all kinds of stuff. But basically, that's it. Anyone can recognize a punch in the face. Everyone's throwing a punch. Even girls might mimic a punch, if they haven't been in a fight. Like it's everyone knows what a punch in the face looks like. Yeah, it's not very difficult. Like in football, you got rules like you got fouls, and obviously the offside rules are a bit complex. American football's full of rules and hard to follow. And UFC is another fighting sport, but it also is the stand-up stuff is easy to understand for anyone. Anyone can understand the stand-up stuff. Everyone's seen a Bruce Lee film or something like that. He's got a kick in the face, looks like a punch in the mouth, an elbow in the face. It's very easy to know the damage. Difficulty comes when it goes on the floor. And that's also where it gets ugly. Because I don't care, people talk about the technicalities of grappling and jiu-jitsu. Listen, man, and you got two guys in pants running around sweating, and trying to submit each other. And it's also quite hard to know what's going on, who's getting on top if you're not used to it. Yeah, if you don't know about it, it's not like if I've had girls that come to watch boxing, right? And the first time they've ever watched a boxing match with the Triple B, and they still got an opinion about what's going on. They still know what's happening. They don't, okay, what's that? What's he doing? The only thing they'll say is, there's quite a lot of hugging, and it should be stopped in boxing. To the extent they allow way too much clinching. But basically, and sometimes even these girls that have never watched a boxing match before will have a valid opinion. In fact, sometimes they'll have a better opinion than casuals, because casuals think they know boxing, and they try and read stuff into it and repeat stuff they've heard idiots like Darren Barker say, because they think they know their boxing and they don't, and they look stupid. Whereas and they start talking about weight, I don't know. They start talk about things they know nothing about with authority. Whereas a woman or just a random person never watched boxing will just be like, oh yeah, punch them in the face. I can see that. And I've had some girls make some quite good comments about fights better than Darren Barker and people like that, idiots like that. But yeah, so UFC. But as I said again, it's harder to read the groundwork. It's not natural. You need to really kind of know what's going on. Also, at the end of the day, man, if you've got a sport where people are dry humping each other, another sweaty man, and someone's batte or nuts can actually end up on someone's nose. We don't do that we don't do that in the hood, as Bernard Hopkins said, which is weird because he's the dirtiest fighter there is, and he spent half fight clinching the other man, the other half naked man. But yeah, so but occasionally, I do watch the big fights, and the one thing UFC has got over boxing, and it is the matchups. But that's clear, right? Because they, own the fighters. They're basically the promoter, the matchmaker, more or less the manager, and the world body. So it's very easy to make those fights. So it's not the same in boxing where it's way more complicated. Promotional ties and, there are loads of boxing organizations and blah, 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 blah. So we had Volkanovski vs Islam Makhachev. And Volkanovski came in 2 weeks' notice for Paulo Costa, and and he lost a close fight to Islam, which I thought he won actually, because I thought Islam did a lot of so-called octagon control, but he's got a dominant position. He's not doing any damage. Volk did more damage in my opinion, right? But I thought, man, he's not training for a fight at this weight, and he's 2 weeks for the top guy. I don't know, man. That just seems crazy to me. I thought he's definitely going to get beat. Not in this way. Yeah, he got a good old, kick in the face, brought him down and crashed down with the old hammer fist in the first round. I remember I went up to make a cup of tea, and I come back and I didn't have the volume up high, and he's on the floor. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, what? But yeah, he sort of didn't know where he was. I mean, it's yeah. So Volk's claims for being pound for pound and one of the GOATs, one of the greatest of all time. Well, took a good kick in the face. Not to put too fine upon it. Took a good kick in the face. He was destroyed essentially. He didn't take that shot at all well. Listen, when you get a proper boot in the face from someone's hard shin, you can't, on top of the, like the temple area, or top of the head. That's the way it is, man. That's the way it is. Especially in the first round, he haven't warmed up. But then also on the card, there was Khamzat Chimaev vs Kumara Usman. Usman was meant to be the next big thing, but then he got beat. But was it Sean Strickland? And then no, sorry, I'm talking about not Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland beat Adesanya. What I mean, Usman again, I think late notice, and he gave him a good account of himself. But the most Chimaev, the alleged Swede, is he's Chechen, right? Really. Anyway, he gave 2 interviews. It was kind of funny. So the first interview, is a very politically correct one, what the media want to hear. He's obviously been trained. And he starts going on about how awful it is, kids dying, and it doesn't matter whether you're Christian, Jewish or Muslim, it's kids that are dying out there, and, it makes this impassioned but very fake speech. And this is what the English kind of, the English interview version. So this is what he says. Guys, you know what's happening in the world right now? I wasn't happy being in the cage and seeing kids dying. Doesn't matter where in the world. Ukraine, Syria, Afghanistan, Palestine, USA. Doesn't matter. When kids die, it's hard, guys. I love the kids. I have a boy waiting for me back home. He's only 3 months. If he's just crying, I don't know how to feel. Sounds like Gajay's speech, doesn't it? I don't know what's going on in Ukraine, but it's not good, isn't it? When someone dies, guys, I don't know what to do. Inshallah, there'll be a good world. I hope so. Christian, Muslim, Jew, doesn't matter. Please, guys, be together. Let us live in this world. Let us be happy. So that's exceptionally lame, fluffy, media-friendly thing, and just prepared, and just absolutely pathetic. No reality in it. Just emotional garbage, the sort of stuff you'd expect from a Hollywood star or something like that. Yeah. But then Khamzat turns a bit more honest, and dare I say it, a bit more based. Yes, so he switches to Chechen. I think it's Chechen, right? Not his home language, if you like. Even Russian. He speaks 3 languages, I guess. Maybe 4 Swedish. I don't know. Chechen, Russian, English, Swedish. But anyway, this is what he says. Chief, this is to the Chechen interview or whatever. Chief, may Allah be pleased with you. It's not difficult to perform here and fight for you here. If you give me permission, I swear by Allah, I'll be the first to go to Palestine. For God's sake, give me weapons so I can go to Palestine. I swear I wasn't raised to fight in shorts. I swore allegiance to our chief, and I swear if he gives me the right, I am the guy who will go and die there. I don't worry about my own death as much as I worry about the death of my Muslim brothers. So, he's talking about the chief. He's talking about Khadyrov, right? The Chechen governor, right? He's known to be a bad man. but yeah, and he likes UFC fighters and wrestlers, and You know, I think his son has been groomed to be a good one. He also had a, huh? He also had a UFC fighter, whacked, right? He actually had him whacked, and they used to be friends. But this guy was selling drugs, and he had him whacked. Let me find his name. Yeah, so there's a top guy, and he used to be big buddies with Khadidov, right? He used to be big buddies with him, and trained his son. His name is Abdul Karim Edilov. Abdul Karim Edilov. Yeah. And you know, he was his big friend and ally, but apparently he just suddenly disappeared. And the rumors are he started to sell drugs and ended up getting whacked. Kadyrov, or Kadyrov, I should say. But yeah, it's quite funny because the way the media are reporting it now, yeah, there's a few media outlets. Oh, Khamzat gave an impassioned speech about the kids of the world and how he wants peace. He's looking for peace. And only a couple of lower, what do you say, outlets, you'd say lesser known outlets, reported the actual Chechen speech, which is the polar opposite basically of what he's just saying, you know. So it was funny, man. I mean, I could go two ways, right? You'd think the media, you know, being the media who they support, might shout from the rooftops and crucify Makachev. On the other hand, you know, it's popular, and he's speaking for a lot of people in the Islamic world. So maybe they just don't want to publicize it. But it just shows you what a bunch of liars the mainstream media are. You can't report one thing as English speech and not report the other one in Chechen, and you know. And we'll see if they pick it up and see how they deal with it. But I thought it's kind of funny. In some ways, you go, oh, he's pretty based and courageous for saying the latter one about picking up arms and fighting for Palestine. But then again, you can say, well, he was a bit cowardly. He should have given that speech in English as well. Let everyone know. But anyway, it's interesting, man. We'll see how it develops. Peace in the Middle East. And especially peace in the Middle East, I guess. It won't happen though. It won't happen. It won't happen yet. There'll be a fake savior, yeah, coming, the Antichrist, and he will bring peace to the nation, but it will be fake. It'll be peace there, but it'll be fake. It'll be fake, and then the end times, and then you get a real peace. So keep your eyes and ears open, man. Follow the narrow path, because that leads to redemption.